this video is going to go over the bags that I have sadly parted with or I no longer reach for anymore, and it's going to include Hermes, Dior, and Louis Vuitton. The very first bag that I want to talk about was my YSL bag, and it's the envelope quilted medium bag. It's the shorter one. I'll insert a clip on here too, but it was my very first designer bag. I just felt like I never reached for it anymore. I remember when I first bought it, I was so happy with it. I loved the type of leather. I felt like it was very durable, but I felt like it was a very night out bag, and I only used it when I went out for dinner, and I felt like I wanted something that was more of an everyday bag. So it's mainly sitting in my closet for a very long time. I remember that bag was so important to me because it was my first bag I bought with like one of my first couple paychecks that I had saved up. And I remember that it was such a big chunk of money to me to be spending at that time, and it was something I was really proud of. But I ended up parting ways with it because I just was not reaching for it anymore. I feel like I tend not to reach for YSL type of products, so it was something that I ended up selling. The second bag that I had parted with is, you guys have no idea how much I regret selling this bag, is the Louis Vuitton Pochette Matisse. This bag had, I don't know, the internet like on a chokehold in like 2019, 2020, and there were so many influencers and friends that I saw that bought this bag. Some of my friends still have this bag now, but this bag, I bought it around the pandemic or pre-pandemic time. This bag, I felt like it was so durable. It was my very first Louis Vuitton bag. It was brand new from the store, and I felt like it was crossbody, it was comfortable. I wore it all the time to like my dinners, when I was going out. I felt like it was so comfortable. And the reason why I ended up selling it is because I got really hyper fixated on Hermes and Chanel. And I was thinking at the time, like, oh, I'm done with Louis Vuitton. Like, it's not really me anymore. It's not really the brand I tend to reach for anymore. And I ended up selling it to a close friend. And I really regret it because I had so many memories to it. And I always told myself like not to keep a bag just because of the memories, but because it wasn't that expensive a bag. And I feel like I had it during like an important part in my life. It was during the pandemic, time where I was going through a lot of hardship in life, personal life, and I don't know, it was just very sentimental to me. And now that I am more into Louis Vuitton again and I'm more into products, it's something that I wish I had kept. Okay, and now the next type of bag that I like to talk about is going to be Dior. One of the ones I had sold was my medium BT Light Joy bag, the full name, and it was in gray, and it was in this beautiful fabric type of material. And I bought it because this girl that I knew, she had it, and I thought that it looked gorgeous on her. I thought it was the perfect like everyday bag because one, it fit a lot. Two, I felt like because it wasn't leather, it was more like casual, and I really wanted something like that. And what I should have known is that I tend not to wear grays that much, and it's not really a color I wear in my wardrobe, so it didn't really match with the other colors that I typically wear. I felt like it kind of clashed, and I felt like it was a little bit too chunky for me, too bulky. I didn't really like that square shape, and that's something I've learned so far is I typically don't like that super square shape that it is. That was something that I ended up selling. And the second bag that was also from Dior that I sold was my saddle bag. I believe it was the mini size. I bought that one in Hawaii, and we do like that bag at the time. I was so happy when I put it on. I put it on and I felt like instant excitement. And I feel like whenever I feel that excitement when I hold the bag, I'm like, okay, this is the one. Like, I know I'm gonna buy it. At the time, I realized that it barely fit anything. It was very awkward holding it because I felt like I had to hold it like this or on my wrist, and I didn't like the golden like letter part. It felt kind of heavy with the flap and opening it and then just reaching to put things in, and it just was such an awkward shape to me. I was not gravitating towards it anymore. So that one I did end up parting with, and I don't have any regrets really with my Dior ones that I've sold compared to my other. So this is probably my biggest regret of all time. My biggest regret of all time was selling the Hermes Courchevel gold on gold Birkin 30. The reason why I sold it was because I was very set on noir expensive at the time. It was out of my price range, and I thought, okay, if I find a couple bags that I'm not really reaching for, sell them, then I will be able to afford this bag and, you know, kind of justify with this large purchase. And I felt like, even though the gold one, I loved it so much, I didn't like when the light shined on it and it had that kind of shine to it, and it looked a little bit older and aged. I know a lot of people really like that vintage look, but personally for me, it was just that one thing about it that I didn't like and I was kind of nitpicky about. So I told myself, you know, it's fine, I'm just gonna sell it, and then I can get my dream combo, my noir with gold hardware, and it's gonna be a Birkin 30 and it's gonna be great. So I ended up selling it for that, and it kind of was like something where you dream about something for so long, and when you finally have it, it's like kind of like the grass is greener on the other side, because I felt like I don't even reach for it that much because it's so new that I'm scared to like ruin it and mess it up. And I felt like with the brown one, that gold color, I wore it all the time because it was so much more casual, and because it was vintage, I wasn't really afraid to kind of get it scratched up or bring it out and take it wherever I was going, versus the newer one that I had bought. I rarely use that bag because I'm so scared to like dig it up, which is really stupid because, you know, bags are meant to be used, but I'm so scared to use it. So I wish I had never sold my gold one. I do love the noir one I have, but it has been one of my biggest regrets. So the next Hermes one that I let go of was my Picotin, which I had bought in Paris, and I scored a lot of the appointment, and as some of you guys may know, it's very hard to get an appointment, it's hard to get a handbag. And I had gone to the appointment, they told me that they had no Birkins, Kellys, Constances, or mini Lindy's at all, and they just said, is there any other bag that you want? The only one I was considering was the Picotin, and I really actually wanted it in like a cream ivory color with hardware. And she was like, okay, let me go to the back and let me take a look in the back, and she only had the vert Chubby or Cypress, I don't know how to say it, it's that greenish kind of color. And then she had a cream ivory color that I really, really liked, but the hardware was silver, and I know that I don't love silver hardware on bags. And I kind of was like in a toss-up where I was like, I don't love either of them, but I kind of like convinced myself that I loved the green one. And I ended up buying that one because I was like, well, we're in Paris, and it, you know, when else am I going to get this opportunity? What if I never get presented a Picotin again? And I ended up buying it, and I ended up regretting that one because I wish I hadn't bought it in the first place. But it was a great memory, but I just knew that it was not a color I was going to wear, so I ended up selling that. I don't regret that one. There's nothing against the Picotin, it just wasn't for me, and I knew that I wasn't going to reach for it. Maybe in a different color, but even then, with the style of it, I don't know if it's something I'm going to reach for. Last one that I no longer reach for is Lindy, and that one, I am sad about it because I did get it on a very special occasion for it, but I felt like it just was not a bag that I was reaching for, and I feel like the leather itself, it was in a specific leather that was very delicate, and I wanted something that was more of a pebbled leather. And I feel like the zipper was a little bit hard getting in and out of for the Lindy. I also feel like with the twist and lock, I know you can leave it like not locked onto the, I think that screw part, but for me, I don't know, I just like the look of it, so I would always kind of clip it on. But it was kind of like awkward getting in and out of. I felt like the shape was a little bit awkward for me. It felt kind of bulky, like pushing out that shape of it. I know I have the Speedy in the back, but for some reason, like that shape was a little bit more malleable compared to the Lindy for me, is what I felt. And I didn't like that the strap was not adjustable. I do like that the Nano Speedy, it's an adjustable strap. I can make it shorter or longer, or I can detach it, versus the Lindy, it's just attached. You can't take it off and you can't adjust the length of it. So that was another thing. But I know people wear it differently where you can kind of maneuver it, but it just wasn't for me. And I feel like with the Birkins and Kellys, it's just, I like the look of it a lot, and I feel like it was just something I reached for more. So that was one of the things for me, and also the color of it was very light, so I was afraid that with that color much because I was afraid to get it dirty, and that's something I've noticed with my lighter color bags. I don't reach for it because I'm scared of getting it dirty. I know other influencers say like it's fine, just bring baby wipes and like you don't really get dirty, but I feel like I'm very picky and I notice the marks. I notice when something brushes against up something, and I know I'm not super careful all the time. That was kind of something that I was taking into consideration. None of these bags are bad bags. I think that I evolved with my style and I continue to evolve, but there's some bags that I do regret not keeping and holding on to a little bit longer. Totally okay, because you know, you sell things for a reason, or you just don't reach for things for a reason, and that's totally fine. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know if there's any of the bags that you wish that I had kept or